Good morning. I'm Dr. Sandra Martel. I'm the Public Health Administrator for Winnebago County. And today I'm joined by Chris Manuel, our local business entrepreneur from Prairie Street Brewhouse. We pulled together the group because we know with the Memorial Day holiday that the schedule will be kind of, Monday will be when people come back into school, but we really needed to get together and really come down about the importance of this Labor Day weekend. And I'm going to give you some preliminary numbers being reported out this morning and our positivity rate. But I'm sure, as you've heard in the local media and national media, that Illinois has been identified at risk for a surge in coronavirus infections, including Winnebago County, related to the Labor Day weekend. And this has traditionally been the last big summer weekend where people get together. And we have been seeing increasing positivity rates and increasing number of cases. Our preliminary count for today is 44 new cases with a positivity rate of 6%. Surging cases puts our largest school districts at risk for all remote learning. Both of our largest districts, Harlem and Rockford Public Schools, are due to open next week. And so we really need to make sure that we understand that if our surging cases mean that we may have to go to all remote in those cases. Surging cases puts our business community at risk for additional mitigation measures, including limiting their capacity, reducing their hours, workforce issues when workers can't report because they have to stay home with their children, and a return to curbside pickup only for food establishments. And surging cases puts individual vulnerables in our community at risk for mortality and death. So do your part. This is my word of caution and warning. Limit your contacts. Avoid large gatherings. Even large family gatherings increase risk. Discourage your college students from returning home for the weekend. Keep them cohorted in their colleges and dorms. Wear your face coverings and masks. Our children who have returned to school are doing a great job. We need to model the same for them. And stay home if you are sick. So as we look at this, one of the areas that we are going to also remind the public about is enforcement of the executive order related to COVID-19. Since the start of Phase 4 of Restore Illinois back in June, there have been over 500 complaints filed through the COVID-19 hotline and website regarding masking by both individuals and business entities. On August 7th, JCAR of the Illinois constitutional government adopted rules regarding the control of communicable diseases. It requires individuals over the age of 2 who are able to medically tolerate a face covering that covers their nose and mouth to wear them. It applies to both indoor and outdoor spaces. Any business, service, facility, or organization open to the public or their employees shall require employees, customers, and other individuals to wear face coverings. And it applies to all our schools and daycare facilities and prohibits gatherings of more than 50 people or gatherings of 50% or more of a building with a maximum occupancy if 50% of building is less than 50 people. This is part of the executive order. All local boards of health, health authorities and officers, and certified health departments shall enforce these rules and regulations. So as we began to look at this, you hear August 7th, we've talked about not policing our way out of a pandemic, that we want to practice our way out of the pandemic. But Winnebago County Health Department has formalized its enforcement procedures to prevent the transmission of COVID-19. And this is with the support of what we call our working group, and I'll identify those members, because again, they also recognize the importance of, for their livelihoods, their employees, and our business community, of the importance of us participating in enforcement against complaints. Understand that this applies to all entities, including businesses, retail stores, food establishment, places of worship, schools, healthcare facilities, and universities. After 3 validated violations at the same entity, with education, a notice of noncompliance will be issued. If you're issued a notice of noncompliance and there continues to be noncompliance, then a notice to disperse, meaning a code enforcement officer will enter the premises and ask people to leave, mask up, and make a plan. And again, finally, if all of that fails, there'll be a closure notice. For all notices to disperse, a public health emergency rule enforcement hearing will be conducted by Winnebago County Health Department management level staff who have not been involved in the inspection. Because I've often heard that the same inspector cannot be the same hearing officer. We understand that, and our businesses understand that as well. Hearings will be open to the public to view remotely via the Winnebago County Health Department website. It is our commitment to the public who has made the complaint to see that we are following through on enforcement. Ongoing failure to comply may result in issue of charges by the Winnebago County State's Attorney. And finally, all notices of non-compliance, notices disperse, and the closure orders will be posted on the Winnebago County Health Department website for transparency and communication to the public. Notices will be removed after the entity has demonstrated compliance for 30 days. Understand that these are the drastic measures we're having to take as our positivity rate climbs and we have increasing numbers of cases. Not only do our lives depend on it, but our livelihood. We've worked too hard as a community. Our businesses have suffered through a very difficult time, and we need to continue to do what's right to protect them as well. While most of us do not like to do enforcement, we're policing our way out of the pandemic. That again, we recognize that repeated violations continue to put our community's lives and livelihoods at risk. So I want to first of all do a shout out to the business community that worked with us for the Food Work Group, which was one of our largest establishments that came together and not only understood the difficulties of what they would have to do to transform their businesses and their industry, but also the process of how do they help us move through this with them. Todd Marshall, who is our lead in environmental health, Lisa Sprecher, Gail Goldman, who's an inspector, Al Castro Giovanni from Giovanni's, Scott Frank from Ciao Bella, Michael Prosser from Hoffman House, Ed McCullough from The Element, Paul Sutton from Abreu, Chris Manuel, who you'll hear from shortly, from Prairie Street Brewhouse, Patrick Alberto from Octane, Rick Schmidt from Backyard Bar and Grill, Randy Baker from Five Forks, Mike Leifheit from Irish Rose, Zach Rotello from Olympic Tavern, Sarah Moore from The Standard, and Michelle LeMay from Francesco's. These individuals have come together to work with us to how to best position our community and our businesses for managing through a pandemic. I've said before, we're coexisting with COVID. We need your support to double down on this. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Chris Manuel for his comments.
Thank you, Dr. Martell. I want to tell Dr. Martell thank you for her staff. They've been wonderful to work with. The open dialogue that we've had since the spring on the mass effect that has happened to our industry has been great. I know you didn't want to do any of this, but this is where we're at today. So I am Chris Manuel, CEO of Prairie Street Brewing Company, and we're heading into a long weekend, a weekend that we should celebrate. But we want to ask that everyone take the extra precautions this weekend. I know you're going to go away, you're going to do your pool parties, you're going to come eat and drink at our restaurants, and we want to see you there, but we want to ask that you come and practice the social distancing, the mask wearing, and then come and enjoy and have your food. We want to see you laugh and smile at your tables. When you walk our halls, we want to see you wearing masks. I thank you for this opportunity, and we hope to see you out this weekend at our bars and establishments and supporting our local employees. Thank you very much.